People are the most important asset of any company. This is a quote by Jorge Paulo Lemann, who was a co-founder of Banco Granite in Brazil in the 1970s. This has now been taken over by Credit Suisse, and it operates as Banco Investimentos Credit Suisse. I'm going to talk about supply chain management and importance of people. Why supply chain management? I'll give you a brief run through as to how I ended up managing supply chain before I'm in the role what I am today. I was doing my graduation in India in software engineering. During my graduation, I realized coding, sitting in front of a PC, is not my cup of tea. I couldn't imagine a software engineer's life for myself. So I had to think about what do I want for my future. It started off as a little chat with my older brother Kiran, who was a pilot in Air India, where he has a few friends in Merchant Navy on logistics field. At that point, people had mentioned about the evolving industry and evolving discipline called supply chain management. So I had to do a bit of research. After I finished my engineering in computer science, I had to take a break and I had to do a bit of research about supply chain management. And when I started looking into it, back in 2010-11, most of the research with regards to supply chain management was happening in the UK. I thought, okay, something must be interesting about this, so I did my research. I did a bit of background study into literature, what supply chain management is, why it is growing so much, why it is an evolving discipline. And once I finished my research into this, I decided, yes, I want to do supply chain management. And I went through my application process with a couple of universities, and I was lucky enough to be part of University of Strathclyde. And when I came over here back in 2010, you guys might remember, some of you guys might remember, that was the worst winter Glasgow had seen, apparently. And there was a shortage of food. The lorries couldn't bring the breads over to the supermarket stores, and you name it. There was utter chaos, which Malik was referring to earlier on, but in real life, unfortunately. So I finished my master's supply chain and operations, and as a part of my core studies, I had to do dissertation. And at that point, when I was trying to look for dissertation options, I was keen to join an organization because I wanted to get some industry exposure so that I can be prepared for my supply chain career once I graduate out of the university. So as a part of my hunt for intern opportunities, I managed to come in contact with the company where I'm even today, Castle Precision Engineering. I just joined the company as an intern. At the end of my internship, the company offered me a full-time position. And I was like, yay, glad, yeah, I've finally got a job, which I can go and work on. And it was a good opportunity for myself, and I took the opportunity. I did a bit of project management for the first couple of years. And guess what? The next move in my career was supply chain manager. And it was almost like a dream come true for me. Yeah, I studied so hard, and all my hard work going into finding out what supply chain management is paid off, because I managed supply chain for Castle for 5 years. And this is when, actually, I found out what supply chain management is. My 5 years of working in Castle, every day, 5 days a week, managing supply chain, made me understand what supply chain management is. So what is supply chain management? Supply chain management is the centralized management of flow of services and goods and includes all processes that transforms a raw material into finished product. That's a definition from Investopedia. And I can quite relate to that because of the nature of the industry I'm part of. I'm part of a manufacturing industry. So I can quite relate to that easily. So how does a typical supply chain looks like? There is various forms you can try and depict a supply chain. But I've found, and people whom I've spoken to have found, explaining in this 5-block form is really, really useful. So what does a typical supply chain looks like? Consider a focal company who offers a product or service. They've got the supplier, and their supplier have got supplier, supplier. And for the product or service, you got a customer, and that customer has got a customer and customer's customer. That's a typical supply chain. Now, I'd like to give you an example of something which we can relate to in our daily life. A car. Most of us is a common mode of transport. And I would like to talk about one of the big car companies in the world, Volkswagen. And you know that Volkswagen own many of the brand names like Audi, Bentley, Lamborghini, Seat, Skoda, so on. Volkswagen have got a big manufacturing plant, one of the biggest manufacturing plant in the whole world, in Wolfsburg, Germany. And they have roughly about 60,000 people working on the site. And they produce all the variants of Golf, Touran, Touareg. There's roughly about 2,600 suppliers feeding into their production line. So, if you want to put it into context of a typical supply chain, let's consider Volkswagen. Volkswagen have got customers, customer, suppliers, supplier. And how does everything flow? In terms of the demand flows upstream, the process flows downstream, and the information flows in both directions. You've got to take into consideration for a typical supply chain for a car, who would be the supplier? It could be the assembly item, integrator, or component manufacturer, and who would be their supplier? Raw material. And in terms of the customer, it could be the dealership or the showrooms, and who would be their customer? Me and you, the customers who go and purchase this car. So I'd like to explain in more specific details our particular car, an Audi R8. This is a premium sports car from an Audi range. I don't know how many people can afford this in the room, but certainly I can't right now, but I'm working my way through it. Probably one day I will. We'll see. Audi R8. It's a premium sports car from Audi range. And for this car, it's almost a manual production line. In a normal Audi production line, 95% of it are robotic process. Whereas for Audi R8 line, it's only 25% of processes are robotic. The remaining processes are manual. Why do you think someone big like Volkswagen or Audi will try to do something like that? Why do we think? Because they want to give that human element, the human touch to the car, is a premium sports car. They want to show that it's not off the production line. There's man hours put into this. It's special. And for a typical Audi R8, again, it's got its own typical supply chain, similar to what we have explained or what we have seen in Volkswagen. And one of the suppliers which I would like to particularly consider for this is Bang & Olufsen. That's one of the suppliers for Audi R8. Bang & Olufsen, considering them as a supplier to Audi R8, they have their own typical supply chain. They've got supplier. It could be the speaker systems, whatever they have to integrate into a whole music system interface, music system interface. Who are the suppliers? Raw material. And for the same Bang & Olufsen system, they've got customer. We know one of the customer right now is Audi R8. Another could be the showroom. Who is the customer's customer? When it goes to showroom, it could be me and you. So a typical supply chain involves more than one organization, as we have seen so far. And when you're trying to manage more than one organization, the key things come into play is people. Because Audi have their own systems, techniques, process, and tools. We cannot expect the same process, systems, and technology to be in their supply chain either side, whether it's towards customer base or whether it's towards supplier base. So what brings it together? It's the people. And people are the most important thing when it comes to managing supply chain. I'll give you an example. This is one of my suppliers down south. This supplier was turning around roughly about 2 million pounds back in 2015. And today, they're turning around about 6 to 8 million pounds. These suppliers whom I'm referring to still have the same systems, the same tools, the same techniques, and the same processes. What has changed? It's the people. The MD and his management team who was running this organization back in 2015, no longer there. There's a new management team, the new MD, my friend down south, Gary Griffiths. He has managed to turn this company around with his team being in place now. He has realized that providing the opportunity for the people to understand how to make use of the tools and technology and systems and processes and making them part of the journey and making them share his vision has basically turned around this company. And now they're doing so well, everybody takes a note of it within our industry, which is great. So as you can see, from supply chain management perspective, for me, when this transition happened, it was good because I knew that my supplier would deliver, would give me the results which I'm looking for. It's the people aspect, it's the people element, which makes the difference. A famous quote from Steve Jobs, whom we are all aware of, the ex-CEO of Apple. It's not the tools you have faith in. Tools work, but they don't work. It's the people you have faith in or not. And somebody like him, who has taken Apple from nowhere to where it is today, you can see how important for him it was to recognize people are the most important aspect of a company, of an organization. And we can see today we've had a great event. It's been organized by University of Strathclyde. And the University of Strathclyde has got technology, systems, processes, and tools. Yeah? But what made this event successful? It's Malik, Margot, and their team. They're the ones who put this together. And without them, if Strathclyde had its own tools, systems, and processes, we wouldn't be here today. So again, it's people. It's the people element. And you know that back in 2013, 2014, our city changed its brand statement. Do we know what our brand statement is today?
People make glass.
Well done. Why do you think that statement is there? The city has got its architecture, the city has got everything, whatever it needs. But what makes this city? People. Me and you, part of this city. With that, I would like to sign off with the one key takeaway from my talk. It doesn't matter how good an organization's tools, systems, and processes are. The most important factor for any organization to be successful are its people. And people are even more important when it comes to effective supply chain management, because it involves more than one organization. Thank you.